resurgence of this team of late has not been what brought this team back to its prominence and got them to the Super Bowl. It's been predicated upon the defense since Jim Harbaugh took over. And yeah, they utilized Alex Smith to the best of his abilities, and Frank Gore is always a beast with the running game. But you played conservative offensive football because your defense was winning you ball games, and they have been there all along. And obviously they got worn down as the season progressed, and Kevin Lynch, when he was on earlier, he alluded to the fact that they had played for 92 snaps against the Patriots, and that really seemed to wear the team down. But I wanted that one. I wanted the 49ers defense to be out there and have to face Flacco and give themselves that moment, give themselves the stop. Instead, it was the old Ravens team, not even close to a shadow of the defense they once were, but they were able to go out there and make the stop and keep the 49ers out of the end zone. And we can talk about that lack of consistency in the play calling and the lack of ability and everything that just made that last offensive series for the 49ers such a train wreck. And are you going to come in? Come on, you can't give me the tease here, man. Come on. I'm yelling at Damon. I'm sorry. He's out here. He's fresh back. Hop in. You got to say hello.
I was going to give you until a break, I figure, and then just kind of stroll in. In the same boat too. We were at the Superdome for 17 and a half consecutive hours yesterday, and then our flight left so early today we didn't have the chance to get any sleep. I've been up for well over 24 hours, and it was an incredible week. I mean, what an awesome week right up until that game, and really the end of the game and the beginning of the game. And there's just so much to talk about. And I heard you coming in, and you're doing sports therapy today, and people need it, man. That was an unbelievable happening. I mean, it was a happening. So many things happened in that game, and
like a 35-minute power outage.
That was a happening. That was definitely a happening. Some of the worst play calling I think any fan could have ever imagined.
And not some of.
Don't talk. I don't even want to hear about the penalty on fourth down.
No, I'm tired of Jim talking about that.
Mike Sando nailed it in a recap that he did of the game. He said, that penalty on fourth down might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, but you can't build a 3-story haystack and then complain about that last straw. The Niners buried themselves with missed tackles, missed opportunities, misreads by the coaching staff, going away from their strengths when they should have been playing into them at the most important time, not just in the season, but in everyone's career.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many questions to ask. And at the same time, congratulations to the Ravens who they won that game.
Oh, they did.
The 49ers, they lost it a little, for sure. They made their mistakes, Ted, but the Ravens, look, Flacco was awesome. I mean, what are you going to do when a guy is just awesome on you all day? Although some of his passes, I got to say, looked
hung
like
up in the air like it was just
punts.
Three flies. Yeah,
looked like punts, and I can't believe that Chris Culliver, go away.
Yeah, he's
go
done.
away. That was terrible. That was one of the worst Super Bowl performances of all time. That was an individual disaster that really almost makes his verbal faux pas, his homophobia. Like, the homophobia is the least of this guy's problems right now.
I know. I said, if you're gonna, I was talking to Tonelli, Paul of the Lamont Tonelli show this morning. I said, if you're gonna go out there and be a homophobic bigot, that's on you. But if you're going to couple that with that type of poor play in the Super Bowl, you might as well just buy your own ticket out of town.
It was embarrassing.
He could have salvaged himself if he had made some play. He could have started the path towards recovery in the Bay Area if he'd knocked a pass away or had an interception. But instead, he's just got burned left and right, just made bad plays all over the field.
Look, here's what happened. The 49ers really got lucky with that blackout. I think they get buried in that football game without that blackout. I really do. They had two halftimes. And the Ravens had every single drop of momentum a team could hope to have coming out of the locker room, returning that kickoff, which is where that game was over. That game was over the minute that kickoff was returned. I thought the game was over when they settled for a field goal at the end of the first half instead of pushing it in And there's no game is one play. It's so much added together, and we'll talk an awful lot more about it. I know you're going to talk about it for the remainder of this show. I literally came in here wanting to hang out with you, and now that I'm actually talking in the microphone, I realize I am too tired to be talking into a microphone with any value to the listener.
No,
or
you sounded good,
anyone.
man. No, and no disrespect, but I've never seen you look tired like you look right now. You look
I'm
tired.
Exhausted.
I mean, I can physically see the
Thank you.
exhaustion.
You can see the tired.
But you worked hard. How late did you guys go last night? Because I listened for at least an hour and a half after the game, and then I just laid in bed for a few hours. I didn't sleep, actually.
I'm surprised you just didn't start drinking heavily and take a sick day today yourself.
It was one of the least looked forward to days of my broadcasting career, but I knew I had a job to do.
Hey, well, but here's the thing. Honestly, sports talk radio is not the land of the content. It's the land of the complaint, and there's so much to complain about. There are so many good points that are brought up, that listeners brought up. We did go to 2 a.m. local time. We went. Like I said, we were on the air with 5 hours of pregame at 9 a.m. local.
Yeah.
And went to 2 a.m. local time. And one of the weird things about being in the Superdome is that you're indoors all day. You don't see the sun track across the sky. It all happens in a vacuum. Time kind of stands still in the Superdome because you're indoors. So there is no real difference in the way 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 10 p.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m. Look, it's all the same. And the day, as long as it went by very quickly at times and then drug at other times for sure. But look, the entire week was that's that actually is a luggage wound just from me picking. I have bloody knuckles.
Yeah, I was curious. I mean, it's really not out of place for somebody who just came back from a week on Bourbon Street.
No. You can tell that's a fresh wound. That just happened at SFO. Yeah. I cut my knuckles picking up my luggage. I knew I would eventually scar something. It happened at the very end.
I got to ask you, Colin Kaepernick he's the real deal, right?
Look, here the 49ers have the single hardest piece to add. They have their franchise quarterback now. They have a very good young team. The future is very, very bright. They've got the right ownership, the right general manager, 13 picks, Alex Smith, who's actually in demand and you can actually trade for. And you know what? I think it's very important that everyone in San Francisco, when they call radio shows, speak glowingly of Alex. Like make this guy's trade value as big as possible. Here's what I do if I'm the 49ers. I look at that game and I say, we need more wide receivers, specifically ones who can catch the ball, not named Michael Crabtree. We need cornerbacks. We need defensive line, and that's all we need. If I'm the 49ers, I'm axing the $8.5 million off of Alex's deal. I'm probably not bringing back Goldson because, as a heavy a hitter as he is, I wouldn't pay a safety Pro Bowl dollars because it's not that valuable of a position against the cap. I free up money. I trade picks. I trade Alex. I draft well, and I go out and I sign Darrelle Revis, and the 49ers can win the Super Bowl next year if they go ahead and don't mess around. You go get the best corner in the game. Do it now. You're on the precipice of greatness. That's the move. Darrelle Revis. This team doesn't need another guy. This team doesn't need a little bit more depth. Go out and get an absolute bona fide shut down half the field corner, and you win the Super Bowl next year.
I hope you're right.
Seriously,
the
Niners are loaded and bared to go. And how about Larry and I were listening on the way in, and you cannot put yourself in a 22-point hole and expect to win a Super Bowl. It's a miracle that they got back in it. They really did turn water into wine for CBS there at the end. That was a game that probably a lot of people had, if they didn't see it on Twitter, if they didn't get a call from their buddy, might not have flipped back after that whole blackout thing. But it turned out being the most watched television event in U.S. history. Yeah. And I think the ratings peaked during the blackout. Go figure. Nuts. So,
which was some of the worst television coverage I've ever seen.
Well, now that's what I feel that I really missed because we don't get any of that. And I guess you get all these, stupid, dumb jock former athletes.
No idea what you missed.
You got teleprompter readers trying to kill 35 minutes of live, commercial free. This is where you need to bring in some radio professionals, Ted. Radio would have killed it.
Radio would have killed it.
Radio would have killed it.
It was ugly television. So should I take us out here, or do you take us out?
No, you take us out. Today's your show, man. Thank you so much for filling in.
Anytime.
And we'll do it tomorrow at noon, everyone. Thanks so much for agreeing great week in New Orleans, and we'll have a big show tomorrow if I can wake up in time for it. I'm about to go home and go to bed for the rest of the day.
And there you have it from Damon Bruce, and this is Strange. I'm Ted Ramey, in for Damon Bruce, even though he's in the building. You're listening to The Damon Bruce Show. Give us a call, 415-808-1050.
Damon Bruce on KNBR 1050, the sports leader.